know everybody likes to diss on capitalism and throw the blame on capitalism as the root of the problems that they see in their life, like a corrupt government, or the reason why they're poor, or the reason why corporations have such a control over the market and a control over the low wages that they provide for us. But in a way, that isn't capitalism, but it is capitalism at the same time. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So first, we need to understand what is capitalism. Well, capitalism is just the freedom to. It's a free market. So the way you would understand it is the freedom to choose whatever job you want, the freedom to choose what wage you'll work that job for, the freedom to hire somebody as your own employee, and the freedom to choose what wage you want for them, and choose what you buy, choose what you do with your money, choose what you invest in, buy other people's companies. That's what you would probably understand it as, and that sounds good. Except what's going on in the United States right now. It's not looking so good. And why is that? If this is a capitalistic society and it's supposed to be thriving, we're supposed to be making the most money that we can in this economy. Well, what happened? Well, we need to look at what how did this happen, especially coming from an era, the boomer era, where everybody was rich, everybody was spending so much money, and everybody was living an American way of life. Um, Capitalism happened, and in a way, it is capitalism's fault. So this is what happened. This is a summary of how this happened. Um, well, as a corporation, you would want to make as much money as possible, wouldn't you? So that would include things like paying your workers less and cutting costs through things like cheaper ingredients, which is what we see when corporations buy out companies. They usually replace certain ingredients for cheaper ones, and that increases their profit. And I mean, I can't blame them. I can't blame them for doing that. Why? I mean, it's their choice of how much profit they want to make. But I guess the question is, why are the people still buying from these corporations if they do things like this? If the quality goes down but their profit goes up, the only way their profit can go up is if we continue to buy. And if we notice that the quality has went down, why do we continue to buy? Monopolies. It's because mostly because of monopolies. Let's take Walmart. I think Walmart is a great example. Walmart is one of the only stores around here where you can buy anywhere from anything from motor oil to sports related things to clothes and food. It's very diverse of what you can buy at Walmart. So how is it that Walmart, we see these things like they don't have so many cashiers, they make us do the self checkout, and apart from that, they barely have cheaper prices, maybe by a couple cents, 20, 30, 40 cents a dollar even. So why is it that we continue to buy from Walmart if we could choose another spot? Well, it's because they have a monopoly over that market, over the market of stores that pretty much have everything. Sam's Club, Costco. That's the only stores around here that pretty much have that diverse of a portfolio. But Sam's Club is Walmart. It's too expensive. It's too expensive to even start a store like that and expect any profit. So how do we get rid of these monopolies? Well, we need money to start those businesses. First of all, we need to even start a store like that to carry motor oil and to be able to change your tire at that spot and buy food there. That business costs a lot of money. But we're broke, right? We're broke. We don't have money. So how is this possible if the United States has the most amount of money? Well, it, it's in assets. That's where the money is. It's in assets. The United States has money, but we don't have it. It's in assets. So things like stocks. Majority of it is in stocks. Things like Walmart stock, for example, Coke stock, Coca-Cola. Those stocks are worth billions of dollars, and they hold actually, Coke. I feel like they don't have that much of a grip on the market. It's so much easier to start a soda brand than to start the Walmart example that I provided. It's so much easier. But anyways, Walmart, for example, we're broke. We don't have the money for that. So that's why they hold such a tight grip in the market. Because any of us could just go do that, given that we have the money provided to start a store like that and expect any level of profit. And I don't blame us as the consumers for going to Walmart because that's where everything is, or even like Target. Target has that stuff too. I don't blame us for going there. So how do we in a way this is capitalism because if you were a employer, you had your own company. Wouldn't you want to steal all the customers from your competitors? That's what you would want, right? More people buying from you, more profit, more money for you. I can't blame them for wanting to have a tight grip on the market. But at the same time, capitalism calls for competition. If somebody else tries to undercut Walmart, then that means Walmart has to adjust their prices to the undercutters, and the prices will go down. That's the entire purpose of capitalism, competition. But we don't have that. It's too much. It's too much to even start a company like that. We see competition through things like things that don't cost that much money to start a business in, like food or coffee shops or restaurants. Those things usually don't cost that much money compared to starting a store like that, like Walmart, where you have everything. Or what's another field that costs so much money to start a business in that only a couple of companies have a tight grip on the market because nobody wants to start a business in that. Um, Probably, I don't know, like airplanes. Airplanes. Nobody wants to start a airplane. Nobody wants to start an airplane company where they fly people. Just like Spirit. Spirit went down. We just lost a company right there. Spirit Airlines. Now, only a couple of companies are going to have the opportunity to have these customers, and that's bad for us because that means Spirit Airlines was the one that will give you a cheap price, and that means that the other airlines had to adjust their prices so that they're not super expensive compared to what Spirit Airlines was offering. But now that Spirit Airlines is out of the picture, you know, now they can pretty much just set their prices to whatever they want or raise their prices a little bit or even a lot. And that's because there's no competition. We need to create competition again. I think the United States government did do this at some point where they encouraged competition. My This is just a theory or just an idea. It's not like something I actually truly believe. I would probably need to get questioned on it and see if there's any flaws in it. But the United States needs to encourage competition again, or maybe even create their own business, like a government thing. I don't know if that's a little bit socialistic because that's a little bit socialist because it's a government thing. Like, let's say, okay, right now rent is out of control, and right now rent is out of control. Let's say there was a government building where the prices are pretty low because that's a government building. It's a nonprofit basically. The government is just there to provide housing. Let's say the prices right now are what, 2,000 for an apartment. Let's say two to 3,000. Let's say this government building. This is a nonprofit, right? It's tax funded, but that's only for the maintenance and to actually purchase the building. Um, uh, I don't know. Let's put it at 800 a month for rent. And now everybody's gonna go here. Everybody's gonna go here. And now the landlords that do rent at 2 to 3,000 per month are gonna adjust their prices. They're gonna maybe go to 1,500 a month or 1,200 a month. I mean, that sounds crazy. That's crazy low in this market, but some people will go that low, and others will keep the quality of their apartments the way they are. The ones that are actually like luxury apartments, and they'll be like, if you want the quality that we receive, we do expect 2,500 a month, 2,000 a month, and there's no problem with that because they increase their quality uh, to to they increase their quality. So it's not bad that they're actually expecting that much money. But there's apartments out there 2,000, 2,500 a month that are like very mediocre, and it's like, what are we even doing here? And maybe this idea could go to any field. um and it's capitalistic in a way because it's just like another business. And it's just like another business. And let's put it in a different example. I think the hmm let's take Walmart. Let's say there was a government funded store, and we put it in competition to Walmart or a grocery store or a place that has like everything, and everything was significantly cheaper. Let's say, uh, I don't usually shop, but you know, let's say they had food for half the price that you would at a grocery store, like Stater Bros or Ralph's or uh, Costco. Let's say you put half the price. Now they have to adjust their prices to cover that. And maybe they can even offer better wages too. Well, who knows? It's just that I would need to get questions on it. I would need like somebody to think this over with, you know. But that would be a little bit capitalistic. I know it is. Mm, I was gonna say it might be socialist a little bit, but the grocery store is receiving money. You know, it's very low cost, but it is receiving money, so that money can be used. So it's like half and half. It'll be funded through the costs, through the money being given, and it'll also be funded through a little bit of taxes. But I think it's worth it, right? Well, it'll be worth it to like use the taxes on this because that will bring everything down, and now prices will be affordable again. That and also the idea that I talked about in my other video, where I talked about how we're going to increase wages and how um, and how it's not corporations' fault for wanting to pay you a lower wage. You just need but it is your fault. It is your fault for not demanding a better wage because that's a little bit capitalistic of you. That's capitalist of you to demand a better wage. Why wouldn't you demand a better wage? But it's also capitalist of them to not want to raise your wage. So now it's just who has more leverage, and that is capitalist. Um, so right now, capitalism is working like half. Like we need to demand our money. We need to, and we do have leverage. I talked about it in the other video, and you'll see that we do have leverage. And it is possible to remain in a capitalist country and hire and increase your standard of living. So capitalism is good. It's Socialism isn't bad, but it's not what I want. It's not what majority people want. Um, well, I guess who am I to say, right? But it's not what I want. I don't want socialism. I want capitalism. I want to keep I want to keep a great majority of what I worked hard to earn worked hard to earn. And I think we get that confused a little bit. I want to talk about that. We get that confused a little bit. Worked hard to earn. When we think of work, we think of physical labor, but that isn't necessarily physical labor. You could be working smart and hard at the same time. You know, like people think, oh, the landlord isn't working hard and he receives all this money. Well, he's working smart. He is working. He's working smart and hard. It's just that sometimes the smartest thing that you can do is work hard, and that's where physical labor is. So when you don't have like money and you want to start your own business, now you probably do need to work hard for a little bit and then put that money towards something and start working smarter. So anyways, I don't mean to get backtracked. Capitalism is good, and if you have any questions about capitalism and how it affects you, and socialism even, and how it affects you, you can ask me. I believe I do have every answer that you to. I believe I do have every answer to the questions that you have.